Hello, and welcome to our presentation. This is Group 3, the Practical Application and Organizational Value of Ethical Leadership. My name is Tracy, and in my group I'm joined by Samantha, Shantine, Michael, and Ashley. We hope you enjoy our presentation. When most people think about ethical leadership, the unethical actions of management are typically what come to mind. As this comic demonstrates, most people consider good management skills to be a good skill at lying. And in fact, when you first saw the presentation title of Ethical Leadership, you may have thought of a number of unethical companies that we consider. Firms such as Enron, Arthur Andersen, Citigroup, and WorldCom are some of the first things that come to mind when we consider ethics. Unfortunately, we often consider the ones that are thought to be unethical.
Here is a wonderful video about unethical leadership behaviors in the office.
I will go first. When I discovered YouTube, I didn't work for 5 days. I did nothing. I viewed Cookie Monster sings Chocolate Rain about 1,000 times.
At the Stanford branch, they all play this World War II video game called Call of Duty, and they're all really into it. I'm told it started as a team-building exercise. Unfortunately, I really suck at it. Oh, we didn't play many video games in Scranton.
I keep various weaponry strategically placed around the office. I saved Jim's life with a can of pepper spray I had Velcroed under my desk. People say, oh, it's dangerous to keep weapons in the home or the workplace. Well, I say, it's better to be hurt by someone you know accidentally than by a stranger on purpose.
Got a farewell card for Debbie Brown. I thought maybe you'd like to sign it. Maybe throw a couple of bucks in there for her. She's got some children. I feel terrible about Debbie Brown. She got fired because of Dwight. So I thought I'd pass around a goodbye card. Maybe everyone could put in a couple of bucks to help her through these difficult times. Why do bad things always happen to the good people? It's tragic. It's just tragic.
Hey, Michael.
Can't talk, saving the planet.
Oh, we don't recycle.
You don't? Why have I been separating the trash into whites and colors?
Moving away from unethical behaviors, for the basis of our paper, it was on ethical leadership. Ethical leadership is defined as the demonstration of normatively appropriate conduct through personal actions and interpersonal relationships, and the promotion of such conduct to followers through two-way communication, reinforcement, and decision-making. Ethical leadership. Ethical leaders are creating a foundation in which employees can observe and demonstrate positive behaviors. Ethical leaders are shaping the future of our business world by demonstrating a positive work environment, by teaching positive behavior. Ethical leadership requires an internalization of the meaningful rewards and replication of practical skills. Without strong ethical leadership, employees have no ethical standards to abide by.
The first step to having an ethical organization is to create a cultural change throughout. This will allow management to have ethical leadership that flows down through the grouping. One successful method has been shown to improve the ethics of an organization is through practicing behaviors that support these ideals. Ideas such as personal reflection, silent moments for people to reflect on their activities, The authentic behaviors of management as seen by employees, and leadership showing proper humility in their decisions and in their statements to employees are some of the ideas that they should not only practice, but engage in to have an ethical organization.
Ethical leadership can be achieved by two different components that are the role model component and the exchange component. These two components are used when leaders demonstrate how to do what is right and expect their employees to follow their example. It is also important for leaders to keep in mind how the message will be given and how they can enforce the message. Something that can impact the way leaders achieve ethical leadership is the perception that the employees have of their leader. If the employees see the leader as unethical, then they may not follow the ethical leadership that their leaders demonstrate. Also, if they don't trust their leader, then they will not be as motivated to practice ethical behavior or follow their leader's example. They will also be less motivated to increase their overall productivity.
As stated, the actions of leaders are directly related to the ethics of the overall organization. One method that leaders can utilize to improve their decision-making skills in an ethical manner relates to the TACTILE acronym. Leaders must show trust to the organizations that employees feel their actions are with ethics. They have to show authenticity or a trueness of their actions, so they show to demonstrate that they don't come from an ulterior motive. Caring in their decisions, so they relate to not just themselves, but to the organization as a whole. Transparency, or the openness of communication, which improves the ethical image. Integrity, as related and also relates to authenticity, their decisions are made without prior conflicts of interest or other ideals. Learning, in a sense that as their decisions change, their minds change, and their ethics continues to grow. And an empowerment of not just the workforce, but of leadership as a whole through ethical behavior. Though we've spoken some about how to help create an ethical organization, many people might wonder why they should try to work for ethical leadership. The ethical leadership of a company actually holds many benefits. Some of the research has shown that benefits include increased employee satisfaction, increased employee motivation, increased employee creativity, and improved decision-making for both employees and management as well.
When it comes to ethical leaders encouraging their employees to meet certain goals within the workplace, these goals can be reached by the leaders using influential tactics. Leaders can use these tactics to get employees to put forth more effort and get employees to behave in certain ways that will help leaders that they admire, respect, or pity. There are two types of tactics that can be used to influence these employees. The first type of tactic is exemplification tactics. These tactics occur when leaders engage in certain behaviors that display integrity, discipline, moral responsibility, and effectiveness. Supplication is the second tactic, and these tactics occur when leaders show employees their weaknesses and experiences that they lack. This is supposed to motivate employees to help the leader out when needed. Aristotle had discussed that happiness comes from the development of an individual's virtues. Individuals are not born as good or bad people, but they have to develop these virtues that make them become good individuals. Individuals need to develop and practice these virtues in order to develop the motivation to do the right thing. Aristotle also discussed that emotions should not be denied when it comes to moral motivation. Instead, individuals should focus on the right emotions that will help increase moral motivation. Kantian believed that moral worth of any action relies entirely on the motivation of the agent. This meaning that human behavior should not be viewed as good or bad just by viewing the consequences that it causes. Instead, individuals should focus on what motivated them to act this way. There are three types of actions that can motivate leaders to act morally and ethically. The first type of action is actions from duty. These are the actions that the managers and leaders would think are the right thing to do and that respect the moral laws. The second type of action is actions by immediate inclination. These actions help to preserve things such as life and honor. These actions are used to help others because it is an individual's moral obligation to help others. The third type of action is actions impelled by some other inclination. Kantian also stated that emotions should not be ignored because they may impact an individual's decision-making process. Mills discussed that moral motivation comes from the idea that individuals act in a way that will result in the greatest happiness overall. There are two different sanctions that motivate people to act morally and ethically. The first type of sanction is the internal sanction, that is when an individual's conscience motivates them to do the right thing. The second type of sanction is the external sanction, which includes God and also the judgment that comes from other individuals. Managers and leaders are motivated to act morally and ethically because they are worried about how others will view their actions and decisions. The moral imagination was also discussed as a very important part of moral motivation. The moral imagination is very important and impacts an individual's moral judgment. The moral imagination allows individuals to consider both the positive and negative consequences that can come from their actions.
Two different theories have also been associated with motivating employees to do what is right and to help leaders when they need assistance. The first theory is social learning theory, and the second theory is social exchange theory. The first theory is the social learning theory. If a leader acts in a way that makes them seem very dedicated and hardworking, then the employees will begin to learn that behavior. Once they learn that behavior, they will also practice the behaviors that they have learned from their leader. Some of the things that employees can learn from their leaders include different behaviors, attitudes, and values that the leaders demonstrate. We acquire much of our behavior by observing and imitating others within a large social content. Humans imitate others, no matter what position one is in. Others are observing and mocking. Each individual should practice positive ethical leadership so it's carried throughout the company by imitating and observation. The second theory is the social exchange theory. This theory states that the leaders motivate employees to do certain behaviors by making them feel obligated to do so. They do this by showing a lack of experience or weaknesses that make them look as if they need assistance with certain tasks. The employees, in return, expect that their helping behaviors will earn them certain favors in the future.
As you've seen, there's a number of different behaviors that leaders can exhibit that help encourage an ethically led environment. Employees look to their leadership to determine what norms and behaviors should be considered acceptably ethical within this organization.
One of
Please
the
enjoy this video related to
implicit
that type
tasks
of
of a
material.
leader is to set ethical norms. And by ethical norms, we don't mean, some high-fluting ethical code. We mean how people are with each other day to day. What are the ground rules for our interacting? Are we going to be honest or not so honest? Are we going to be open with people about problems we have with them, or just gossip about them behind their back? Well, if you're open with people and you put it out on the table and do it in a positive, collaborative way, you can settle those differences and get on with the work. If not, if you just start developing little cliques, and this group is against that person, so it's a disaster for the working environment. So in other words, the leader's ethical task is to be an exemplar, to show how to do this, to model this, and to encourage other people to follow those norms and to praise them when they do, and to draw a line when they don't.
Bevo.com.
Moving into the benefits of an ethically led organization. Positive ethical leadership encourages positive work environment. Positive work environment encourages creativity. Creativity encourages intrinsic motivation, and intrinsic motivation leads to innovative work behaviors. All of this encourages back up to a positive ethical leadership. Expanding on ethical leadership and creativity. Creativity in the workplace is very important. This allows the employee to explore new, innovative ideas and feel comfortable sharing them with a group. With an open environment, employees are encouraged to practice knowledge sharing and express their opinions and concerns through proper communication.
One facet of creativity relates to intrinsic motivation. Ethical leadership has been shown to have a positive impact on employees' motivation intrinsically. Intrinsic motivation is believed to manifest itself through innovative work behaviors. Innovative work behaviors require individuals to intentionally strive for new, creative, and useful products, process, ideas, and etc. within his or her own function. These innovative work behaviors can allow for a more positive growth environment and an improved productivity overall for an organization. An additional benefit of ethical leadership is the improved decision-making of both employees and management. One skill that can allow leaders to make better decisions that are in a more ethical manner is to provide a quiet moment for them. To improve these decisions, leaders must have the ability to carefully evaluate situations before making a decision. Leaders who are forced to make decisions in an on-stage environment, as for example, may make a more poor decision or one that's not as ethical. Leaders who engage in personal reflection are able to reduce the tension in management and make better and more ethical decisions.
Thinking about what ethical dilemmas you face in the workplace, please view the next videos to see what ethical dilemmas we face in our workplace and industry and see how we relate to them.
Hi, my name is Samantha Akardakis. I'm currently a student at Walsh University receiving my MBA. At my current job, I'm a computer programmer, and there are many different ethical dilemmas that we face every day. One ethical dilemma that we do face is that when customers or technicians call in, they're required to give us a personal identification number. Without that personal identification number, we are unable to assist them. They will sometimes get angry, and sometimes people will assist them without that number, which is not allowed because we need to verify who exactly we are speaking to. Another ethical dilemma that we do face is that when the customer calls in, they are required to have a level 4 authority before we can make any changes to their account. The level 4s are usually the managers at the site, and with authority level 3 or below, you're not allowed to make changes to the account. Therefore, if someone does make a change for the person, that is not allowed. Another ethical dilemma that we sometimes face is that technicians will call in to bring a site live, and they are not allowed to bring the site live until every single zone at that location has been tested. This way we can verify that every single zone is working and we are receiving signals from those zones. If the technician calls in and requests that we bring the site live and not all zones have been tested, we are required to put a note at the bottom of the account stating that the zones that have not been tested need to be tested or we will not monitor them.
Hello, my name is Shantine. I am a registered nurse in a nursing facility. My job title is unit manager. I'm going to give you an example of an ethical or unethical situation, and I will let you decide which you feel it is. Mr. Jones comes to our facility, and he's a quadriplegic. Susie is a state-tested nurse's aide who works in the facility. When Mr. Jones first arrives, Susie gives him care as she gives everyone else. As the weeks go by, Susie starts giving Mr. Jones extra care. Susie is in his room more, and she also switches the floors with other aides so that she can take care of Mr. Jones when she's at work. Susie also brings Mr. Jones snacks, extra meals. She brings in videos when she's off work so they can watch movies together. She calls when she's not at work, and then she starts taking Mr. Jones outside the facility for extra activities. How do you feel Susie's actions are with Mr. Jones? Do you feel that they're ethical or unethical? In my opinion, Susie is acting unethically with Mr. Jones. All residents in a nursing facility are to be treated fairly and equally. Each resident gets the same care every day, regardless of who is taking care of them. We do not take them out for extra activities. We do not call them when we're not at work. This is not professional behavior. When we take care of residents, we need to keep a professional appearance, and that means a professional level. We give them the care. We are their caregivers. We do not go beyond that because it can cause problems not only for the staff member, but also for the facility. Once somebody starts getting extras or treated in a different manner, they expect this all the time. And when they don't get that same extra treatment, then they start hollering and making problems for other staff members because they want the same care that that person is showing them that is going above and beyond what they should be. They also want extra treatment, which some staff members do not have that much time anyway to give all that extra treatment when they're working. Susie allows for more problems than good to arise when it comes to the care that Mr. Jones is getting. I would ask that you let me know what you feel in this situation.
Hello, my name is Mike Cheney, and I wanted to take a moment to talk to you about some ethical situations that arise in my current line of work. Currently, I am employed by a privately owned local steel company which produces tube and sprinkler pipe. Privately owned allows for a little more leniency in the ethical world as far as financial statement preparation, which I'm in the financial field and operations controller for a plant. I am still held accountable by generally accepted accounting principles, so I cannot, much like the Enrons of the world, I cannot cook the books or use creative accounting, as a lot of people like to say. I, in my current position, do not have anyone working underneath me, but the people that I work under, I have an ethical responsibility to them in the work that I create for them to follow the rules, be ethical, and not do any shading accounting practices. Now, since we are privately owned, we are not held accountable by the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commissions, but like I said a bit ago, the generally accepted accounting principles pretty much governs all accountants in the U.S. and worldwide. A lot of the things that I do at work are in conjunction with the department heads, so I interact with them daily and let them know where they stand on their budgets and if they're coming in over or under. And a lot of the time they pose questions to me about if they can do certain things to make their numbers look better, or if they can not necessarily hide some expenses to make their departments look good, but I know what they mean, and I as an accountant can be confident in my abilities to hold fast and be truthful with them when they come with such questions. Now, likewise, when I pose a question to my superiors about such subjects, I may not know the answer, or it's a gray area, I don't feel comfortable making an ethical decision by myself, so I may reach out to my superiors. And I know in a lot of places, and one of the subjects of our presentation is the ethical leaderships and how it trickles down to their under layers, or their the ones working for them. An ethical workplace can fall to shambles if the leader of the workplace is unethical. Everyone thinks that's an okay idea. So in my line of work, I feel that I follow all the rules of accounting and practice good ethics.
Hello, my name is Ashley Collins, and I work for a small pharmaceutical company, Aroko Pharmaceuticals, in the sales division. Within Aroko, the Ethical Foundation is built within the founders of the company. Working in the pharmaceutical industry, it is very easy to fall into the trap of ethically questionable behavior. I see this on a day-to-day basis, but I believe that this behavior is carried down from upper management. The pressure that sales representatives have is very stressful at times. There's a fine line that the representative has to balance in order to follow all guidelines set down from the government. One significant factor I believe has a huge impact on ethically questionable behavior is the commission structure. The commission structure should be balanced to motivate, but not to do anything just for $1. Our company has a fair balance of base salary and a quarterly bonus. Our quarterly bonuses are attainable, but there's a lot of pressure from the upper management to just sell, sell, sell. This is a very hard struggle between balancing what is right and what it takes to keep my position as a sales representative. To keep this balance, I focus on my morals and what I know is right. I would rather work as hard as I can and not meet quota and build my relationships on an ethical value and a foundation of trust rather than just to do anything I can to make $1. I wanted to end on a Bible verse, 1 Timothy 6. People who want to get rich fall into temptation and a trap and into many foolish and harmful desires that plunge men into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is the root of all evil. Think about this for a minute. Would our world be different if we based our life on these values?
Hello, my name is Tracy, and I'm a business analyst for a large global firm within the medical device sector. I'm part of the operations department that supports the clinical education team for a number of different business units. A common function within my role that has ethical implications involves forecasting our future productivity levels and related income. Each month, I work with my direct manager to create a forecast for the rest of the quarter and year. This forecast is extremely important as it dictates our actions in terms of manpower, supply purchases, and a number of other decisions. It is a difficult task because many factors must be considered for future performance, and there are several other gray areas as well. I'm thankful that my management has worked to minimize these gray factors, and we've worked to create rules that we follow for considering future events revenue. These guidelines provide an image of consistency and integrity for us to follow. I believe, however, that an unethical firm could use this report to distort future worth and later blame the unpredictable changes of business when the results are less than predicted. And yet, in my own company, there are moments in the process that I feel could benefit from further ethical practice. Each month, after the report is created, it is presented to upper management within a meeting. Many questions and decisions are expected in this decision forum, and an entering of questions from management puts moments of strain and tension on our leadership. This current process does not allow for the quiet moments of self-reflection and forces decisions in the moment. As discussed in our presentation, without this self-reflection, decisions can be strained. Though I have never witnessed any unethical responses from my leadership, the tense environment has a negative effect on decision-making and exposes us to further ethical risk. I believe, however, that if the report was sent ahead of time to upper management, with their questions sent back for consideration prior to the meeting, it would allow my direct leadership to prepare and reflect privately and be able to make better choices with a more clear head. Thank you.
Ethical leadership is contagious. Not one person can represent a company. A company is represented by the actions of all employees. It just takes one employee to practice unethical behavior to ruin a company. It takes the whole company to practice positive ethical leadership to carry on the success.
Here are some questions for discussion. Does your organization exhibit positive ethical leadership? List examples you witness in your workplace. How does your organization's ethical leadership affect your productivity and motivation? Do you agree that positive ethical leadership encourages positive work environment, creativity, intrinsic motivation, and innovative behaviors? Why or why not? Please enjoy these recommended books and articles for further material related to this topic, as well as our list of references used to create this presentation. We thank you for your time and hope you have a great day.